Okay, so let us start an article about La Ville de Paris. Yeah, Sashank, please repeat with me. La Ville de Paris. Okay, La Ville de Paris, autrefois appelée Lutèce, est une ville riche en histoire et en culture. Histoire et en culture. Yes. So, yeah. The city of Paris, which is formerly known as Lutèce. Okay, so Lutèce is the old name of Paris. Understand? So this line says that the city of Paris, which was known in the past as Lutèce, Lutece, Lutèce is a city rich in history and culture. Okay, it's a city. It has a very rich history and a lot of good culture. Okay, culture also. Elle est mondialement connue pour la Tour Eiffel. Paris is worldwide known for Eiffel Tower. Yes, okay, it's okay. Le monument le plus visité au monde. So le plus is the most. So it is the most visited monument in the world. Everybody knows, right? Okay. Done? Okay. Elle est située sur les rives de la Seine. So Seine is a river in Paris. So this sentence says that Paris is situated on the banks of the Seine river. Okay, rive means bank. Huh? Banks of the Seine river. Okay. Paris offre des paysages pittoresques et romantiques. Okay, so paysage means landscape. So Paris has picturesque and romantic landscape. The landscape of Paris city is picturesque and romantic landscape. Okay. Le Louvre, qui abrite la célèbre Joconde, est l'un des musées les plus prestigieux au monde. Good. So here two important words. Louvre. So Louvre is the name of the museum. Louvre Museum. And second one is Joconde. So Joconde is the French word for Mona Lisa. In English we call it Mona Lisa, the famous painting by Leonardo da Vinci. But in French it's called Joconde. La Joconde. L-A, La Joconde. J-O-C-O-N-D. La Joconde. So whenever you see La Joconde, immediately you should know that it refers to Mona Lisa. In English we call it Mona Lisa. And in French you call it La Joconde. And La Joconde word itself has come from Italian. La Gioconda. Okay? So because Leonardo da Vinci was an Italian painter, so the original name is Gioconda, from which the French have made it La Joconde. Okay? And the museum name is Louvre. And one interesting fact about Le Louvre is that before it was made a museum, it used to be a palace, king's palace. Okay? So in case if, yeah, you know this fact, very good, fantastic. Okay? Le Panthéon, dans le Quartier Latin, accueille les tombes de nombreuses figures historiques telles Marie Curie, Victor Hugo, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Voltaire, Louis Braille, etc. Okay, so in the Latin district, so there are different districts in Paris. Okay, the entire city of Paris is divided into 20 districts. So it starts with 75001 ends at 75020. So every district has some kind of a characteristic. So there's a district in Paris which is called Latin district. Okay, in that there's a building called Le Panthéon. So Panthéon is the kind of a building in which the great historical figures of Paris, of France, or related to French culture, okay, are buried over there. So some of the notable people who are buried over there are Marie Curie. So you know Marie Curie, Madame Curie, okay? You are a science student, so you know. She invented radium, right? Radium, and she won the Nobel Prize also. Victor Hugo, the great writer. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the great philosopher. Rousseau was a Swiss philosopher. Okay, he was born in Switzerland, but he also lived in France. Okay, and he died in France. So his contribution is taken as that of French culture. So he was buried in France, but his remains are in his tomb is there in this La Panthéon. Voltaire, of course, another great writer and philosopher, and Louis Braille, the Braille system for blind people. Huh? Yeah, Louis Braille. Okay, so all these people, all these great people, their tombs are in this monument called Le Panthéon. Huh? It's called Panthéon. Panthéon. Then, okay, let's continue. La ville de Paris dispose de trois grands aéroports. Good. The city of Paris has three big airports: Charles de Gaulle, Orly, and Le Bourget. Yeah, so most international flights they come to Charles de Gaulle. Regional flights and some European flights also come to Orly. We have already discussed Orly in one of the previous classes. And there's a military and air force airport called Le Bourget. Huh? So there are three airports in Paris. Son réseau ferroviaire. Réseau means network, ferroviaire means railway. So the railway network, okay, railway network of Paris, son réseau ferroviaire comprend 6 gares. Yeah. So the railway network of Paris has 6 railway stations. Okay. Now in Bangalore, we have 4 or 5, right? Bangalore, Kent, okay, main Yashwantpur, Yashwantpur, Whitefield, like that. So, but in Paris there are 6 railway stations. So let's take their names. So repeat with me: Gare du Nord, Gare de l'Est, Gare de Lyon, Gare Montparnasse, Gare Saint-Lazare, Gare d'Austerlitz. Good. Okay, so there are 6 railway stations. One more time we'll read their names: Gare du Nord, Gare de l'Est, Gare de Lyon, Gare Montparnasse, Gare Saint-Lazare, and Gare d'Austerlitz. Okay, so these 6 railway stations cover north, south, east, west, and also from Paris, from one of these railway stations, you can go to neighboring countries like UK, like London in Eurostar. You can go to Berlin. You can go to Rome. You can go to Spain. Almost all the nearby countries. Okay, from Paris, and there is a Eurorail pass. If you take 6 months in advance, you can also book from India. So if you take 6 months in advance, then it will be as cheap as 10 euros, around 900 rupees, which is nothing. Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's continue. Paris a aussi un métro efficace qui est assez souvent perturbé, qui est assez souvent, qui est souvent perturbé par des grèves. Good. Paris also has an efficient metro system, but it is often disturbed by strikes. So I told you there are strikes in France. Okay, so although the metro system is very efficient, you can go from one part of Paris to another part, let's say 40-45 kilometers within half an hour, but the metro is disturbed very often by the strikes. Okay. Il y a certains quartiers en banlieue comme la Courneuve,
comme la Tourneur,
qui sont réputés pour leur insécurité.
qui sont réputés pour leur insécurité.
Okay. So there are certain suburbs in Paris, okay, which are famous for insecurity. So a lot of crime happens. So all this drug dealers, mafia, violence, such kind of things happen. There are good suburbs also, but there are also suburbs which are affected by crime. So one such suburb is called La Courneuve, okay, and it has got the notoriety for having gangsters and gang violence, okay.
Okay.
Les pickpockets sont un véritable fléau pour les touristes internationaux.
Les pickpockets sont un
Véritable fléau
véritable fléau
pour les touristes internationaux.
pour les touristes
Nationaux.
nationaux
Et de nombreux visiteurs se font voler
et de nombreux visiteurs se font voler
leurs affaires.
leurs affaires.
So pickpockets are a real curse for the city of Paris. So there are a lot of pickpockets which operate in the Parisian metro, and many visitors have their belongings stolen by these pickpockets. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now the thing is that in just one, because even I myself was a victim of pickpocket. That happened on 8th March, International Women's Day,
Okay.
and I had kept my thing, in the right pocket. I was wearing an Adidas jacket, but it was not like a wallet. It was a 200 euro camera. And this guy, very stylishly, they do very sleekly. Either they'll ask you an address, or they'll say something has fallen down, and they'll try to be a something. They'll divert your attention. Basically, they will divert your attention. So many Indians, not only Indians, many tourists, from all over, Japanese and Chinese, they have been robbed. So one has to be very, very careful in Paris metro. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And then finally, malgré un coût de la vie élevé,
Malgré un coût de la vie élevé,
yeah. So malgré means in spite of a high cost of living, coût de la vie, yeah. Coût means cost, COUT. In spite of a high cost of living, et des avis partagés.
et des avis partagés.
Avis partagé means shared opinion. So everybody has some kind of opinion. So shared opinion. So in spite of high cost of living and shared opinion, in spite of what people say, because one will say good, one will say bad, but in spite of all that, Paris reste une destination incontournable.
Paris restait
Une destination
destination
incontournable
incontournable
qui attire
qui attire
des millions de touristes chaque année.
des millions de touristes chaque année.
Yeah. So in spite of a high cost of living and shared opinion, Paris remains an unmissable city for millions of tourists each year. Or Paris remains an unmissable city that attracts millions of tourists each year. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this sentence means that despite bad reviews, okay, the attraction of Eiffel Tower, Louvre Museum, and other attractions is so huge that Paris remains still attractive. Done?
Okay.
Okay. Now we will do a literal translation. So you just read with me. Okay. Done? Okay. So here we go. Article about La Ville de Paris in English. The city of Paris,
The city of Paris,
formerly called Lutetia.
formerly called Lutetia.
Okay, so in English, Lutes, in French, Lutes, Lutec. In English, it's called Lutetia, Lutetia. Yeah. So the city of Paris, formerly called Lutetia, is a city rich in history
is a city rich in history
and culture.
and culture.
It is world famous for the Eiffel Tower,
It is world famous for the Eiffel Tower,
the most visited monument in the world.
the most visited monument in the world.
It is located on the banks of the Seine River
It is located on the banks of the Seine River
Paris. Okay, so Paris city. Paris offers picturesque and romantic landscapes.
Paris offers pictures and romantic landscapes.
The Louvre, which houses the famous Mona Lisa,
The Louvre, which houses the famous Mona Lisa,
is one of the most prestigious monuments in the world.
is one of the most prestigious monuments in the world.
One of the most prestigious museums, yeah. Okay, monuments in the sense of building. So, one of the most prestigious museums in the world. The Pantheon
The Pantheon
in the Latin Quarter.
in the Latin Quarter,
So, the area is called Quarter, okay, and Latin area, okay, of the something to do with the Latin language, okay, Latin culture, is home to the tombs of many historical figures
is home to the tombs of many historical figures
such as Marie Curie,
such as Marie Curie,
Victor Hugo,
Victor Hugo,
Jean-Jacques Rousseau,
Jean-Jacques Rousseau,
Voltaire,
Voltaire,
Louis Braille,
Louis Braille,
etc.
etc.
The city of Paris has three major airports:
The city of Paris has three major airports:
Gare du Nord.
Gare du Nord.
So sorry, excuse me. That was the airport name. Okay, railway station. So let's do this again. The city of Paris has three major airports:
The city of Paris has three major airports:
Charles de Gaulle,
Charles de Gaulle,
Orly,
Orly,
and Le Bourget.
and Le Bourget.
Its railway network includes 6 railway stations:
Its railway network includes 6 railway stations:
Gare du Nord,
Gare du Nord,
North Station,
North Station,
Gare de l'Est,
Gare de l'Est,
East Station,
East Station,
Gare de Lyon,
Gare de Lyon,
Lyon Station,
Lyon Station,
Gare Montparnasse,
Gare Montparnasse,
Montparnasse Station,
Montparnasse Station,
Gare Saint-Lazare,
Gare Saint-Lazare,
Saint-Lazare Station,
Saint-Lazare Station,
and the sixth one, Gare d'Austerlitz,
Gare d'Austerlitz,
Austerlitz Station.
Austerlitz Station.
Paris also has an efficient metro which is quite often disrupted by strikes.
Paris also has an efficient metro which is quite often disrupted by strikes.
There are some suburban areas
There are some suburban areas
such as La Courneuve
such as La Courneuve
which are known for their insecurity.
which are known for their insecurity.
Pickpockets are a real scourge for international tourists,
Pickpockets are a real scourge for international tourists,
and many visitors have their belongings stolen.
and many visitors have their belongings stolen.
Despite a high cost of living
Despite a high cost of living
and mixed opinions,
and mixed opinion,
Paris remains a must see destination
Paris remains a must-see destination
that attracts millions of tourists each year.
that attracts millions of tourists each year.
Okay, so that was the text about Paris. Okay, so quick recap. So the old name of Paris is Lutetia. It is a city rich in history and culture. Paris is world famous for Eiffel Tower, which is the most visited monument in the world.
Yes, sir.
And Paris is located on the banks of Seine River, and it offers romantic and picturesque landscapes.
Yes.
And in Paris, there is Louvre Museum, which is world famous for Mona Lisa. Okay, and Louvre is one of the most prestigious museums in the world. Then there's a monument called Pantheon in the Latin area, which contains the tombs of many historical figures of French culture, such as Marie Curie, Voltaire, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Victor Hugo, Louis Braille, etc.
Yes, sir.
Paris has three major airports. Their names are Charles de Gaulle, Orly, and Le Bourget. And it has 6 railway stations: Gare du Nord, Gare de l'Est, Gare de Lyon, Gare Montparnasse, okay, Gare Saint-Lazare, and Gare d'Austerlitz. 6 railway stations. And despite having an efficient metro system, it is affected by strikes. And as far as suburbs are concerned, there are suburbs where the fear of insecurity is very high, and pickpockets are a major problem in Paris metro.
Yes.
and many foreigners have their items stolen.
Yes.
And finally, despite a very high cost of living, because Paris is very expensive, okay, because of fashion and
Yes, sir.
the flow of tourists. So despite a very high cost of living and mixed opinion, because people have mixed opinion, Paris still remains a must-see destination that attracts millions of tourists each year. Okay, so this is how you have to write any article about Paris, or if a passage comes